Now, if you've been listening to Kevin, there's a chance for snow in the forecast later this week. But that doesn't mean you don't have time left to sort of take care of your lawn. And we're going to help you winterize your lawn and get things all set for the season. We're joined by Ron Weingartz, president of sales of Weingartz. See their commercials all over. We got the man right here in the house. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So, I just looked at my lawn yesterday and thought, I still need a lawn cut. At what time of year do people stop cutting lawns?
Well, it's really when you get your grass cleaned up. With the weather, you kind of work with the weather. So usually, hopefully by mid-November, you can get your final cut in and get the lawn cleaned up. But you got to kind of work with the weather this time of year. So.
And it is a competition. You want to get the lawn cut, but you also have to rake all those leaves.
Yep.
What are some of the things that you can do with those leaves? Because it's not just yard waste, it actually can be beneficial.
Exactly. So a good way to go is to actually mulch the leaves. So there's mulch kits available for tractors where you basically plug off your discharge, different mulching blades. And then if there's not a mulch kit available for your tractor, there's a blade with a serrated edge that actually will shred the leaves. Okay. So people think they have to pick them all up. If you have a foot of leaves, you need to pick some of those up, but you can mulch them up, leave them, and it doesn't harm the grass. So it's actually beneficial for the lawn.
Right, it actually returns some nutrients to the soil.
Exactly, exactly. And your last cutting, you do want to mow a little bit lower.
Okay.
Normally, if you drop your setting one lower than you normally would, just to prevent any grass diseases over the winter.
Oh, okay. And you have some other items here.
Yeah, so the other thing you want to look at, if you have any dead branches, maybe anything that might be hanging over the house, when you get the weight of the snow or ice. So either take a good, pruner, or if you have some heavier, take your chainsaw. And it's important, a lot of people don't think about this, is to make sure your chainsaw has a good sharp chain.
Okay.
It's like cutting with adult scissors. You just don't get a lot of work done.
Now, how difficult is it to change that chain? Because there are going to be lots of folks who don't use chainsaws on a regular basis, and you don't want to mess around with the chain and not have it on there properly.
Correct. All your saws either have one bolt or two bolts on the side, so you undo these two, this cover will come off, and then you just slide your bar back to slip the chain off, and then you just slide it back forward.
So it's generally pretty easy.
Generally pretty easy, yep.
All right.
Absolutely. So the other thing is very important to get your leaves picked up.
Right.
Because it'll be a bigger mess after they sit all winter.
Right, they're wet and they have already begun to decompose.
Exactly.
It'll be a real mess.
Yep, so there's a lot of great blower options now to get the leaves out from behind the shrub beds. There's good gas handhelds. Electrics have come a long way, so electric is a great option with the battery powered.
Right, because I have an electric one, but it has a cord that I'm dragging around.
Yep.
And so how long will the gas run? How long will the electric run?
Well, the gas, you typically mix your gas in a separate tank. You mix a gallon at a time, because this doesn't hold a lot, but this will run about 40 minutes on a tank.
Okay.
And then the blowers, they do draw a fair amount of power, so you usually get 20-25 minutes before you have to recharge the battery.
And then you have the big guy over here in case you have like a lot.
Yep, so if you have a lot of leaves to deal with, these put out considerably more air volume to kind of pile up those heavy leaves.
All right, and we're running out of time. I do want to get to what you have over here because Kevin has snow in his forecast. Not this much snow that you need the snow blower, but this is obviously something that folks need to prepare for.
The snow blower, just time to kind of get it out. People usually don't think about it until snow's in the forecast. Take a look at your bottom scraper bar. Make sure that's not wore out. So take a look at that. Take a look at your rubber scraper paddles. There'll be indicator tell you if it's time to replace. But it's a good idea to just get it out, make sure it runs.
Before you need it.
Before you need it, that's right. Exactly.
Ron Weingartz, thank you so much for joining us. And folks can obviously find your stores across Metro Detroit if they need any of these things.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now.